Hello everyone, Norma Woodcock speaking to you from Perth in Western Australia. I'd like to speak into the third Sunday in Ordinary Time Year C and the theme, Are You Needy for God? In the Gospel, Luke 1:1-4 and 4:14-21, Jesus announces, The Spirit of the Lord has been given to me, for he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. So I'd like to break this down into, I believe there's 3 steps here. I think the first step is, if you want to receive the good news, is to acknowledge that you're poor and needy. The world is full of so many self-sufficient individuals, independent individuals. I remember a businessman in my office once, a mover shaker, and many businesses he had, and he said to me, you are teaching me the opposite of what the world has taught me, Norma. The world has taught me independence, and you are teaching me dependence on God. It's just totally different message altogether. And I said, well, unless we depend on him and open to him and tell him that we need him and that we are the poor, how can we receive? So I guess the first step is to acknowledge we are poor and that we need God. The second step then is to receive into that poverty, into that neediness, the good news. We are loved and we are forgiven. The good news. And we're on our way to a glorious and wonderful future. And then the third step is to pass on what we have received. Gandhi once said, my life is my message. You know, I guess there's advantages to being as damaged and as abused as I was, if there are advantages to that. And the advantage would be when I realised I was the neediest person on the face of the earth, I then could turn to Jesus and say, if anybody needs you, I need you. And oh my goodness, has he come with richness and with blessing and with help. He helps the poor. There's a little scripture in the Old Testament that God's heart reaches out to the foreigner. Many of you are watching are foreigners. To the abandoned, many have been abandoned. To the outcast, many have been outcast. You know, he reaches out, but you have to also receive. And so I began to receive in deep prayer and as a Catholic through the sacraments, this amazing love. It was interesting for me because it was a process, because what I received, God had people crossing my path that then I would share what I have received. And I guess my mess has become my message, you know, and that my husband and I worked out, you know, over 20,000 people in that little tiny office I operate out of, and the talks that I give and the video clips on YouTube. And my story is there in written form, in digital form, in CDs, in products. I have had people asking me, how do we find out a little bit more about how you got from where you were to where you are? And so I do point you to my products page. I don't do that very often, even though it is there on my website, but I do today because I want my message to spread a little further, perhaps. I've asked God to give me a greater influence, that my story and the work he has done in my life, from the poor and needy person that I was to now a person that maybe I'm touching a few lives. I'm still poor and needy, but I'm also content and fulfilled in him. I'm poor and I'm needy because I want more of him all the time. And so that is my prayer for myself and for you, that you will come to this place where you will open to the life-giving waters of his grace. Bless you. Have a great week. Look forward to meeting you again next week.